Red pill number 1. The gods help those who help themselves. You'll be treated like a child, a dependent, a fuzzy ball full of potential for only so long. Eventually, people will expect you to pull your own weight, and rightly so. The faster you learn to be mature and own up to your responsibilities, the better for you. Otherwise, your friends, batchmates, relatives, everyone will begin to see you as a liability, and many may even start to avoid you. Selfless love is reserved by society for women and children, not for men. So never think of yourself as a victim who needs help. Take action and help yourself. Even Providence aids those who fulfill their duties, and your duty as a man is to work hard, create value, and provide for your family. Red pill number 2. A college degree doesn't mean much anymore. This is not apparent to many of us, especially when we're in high school or in college itself, that higher education simply isn't what it used to be. Just to give you some numbers, in 1950-51, there were only 695 colleges in India. By 1980-81, this number had grown to 4,722. Today, there are more than 42,000 degree awarding colleges across the whole country. This has led to an exponential growth of college degree holders over the last 70 years, and the number of white-collar jobs in the economy has simply not grown fast enough to keep pace. The end result is that jobs requiring college degrees have seen massive stagnation in wages, or even wage decline in inflation-adjusted terms. What's more, this hasn't stopped our government from trying to blindly push more people to get college degrees. The new education policy of the Modi government aims to increase gross enrollment ratio in colleges to 50% by 2030, which is nearly double of where it is right now. So do not presume that just getting through college will be an easy ticket to a well-paying job and career. Learn real skills, make real contacts, and work your butt off because things will only get tougher. Red pill number 3. Female virginity is an indispensable virtue. Never ever compromise on this. Study after study has shown that greater the number of sexual partners a woman has had, the less is her capacity for pair bonding. One such study by the Institute of Family Studies in the US showed that marriages where the bride was a virgin at the time of the wedding ended up in divorce only about 6% of the time within a 5-year period. Meanwhile, in marriages where the woman had had prior sexual partners, the divorce rate was 20% within 5 years. This means that marrying a non-virgin could result in a more than 3 times higher chance of your marriage failing. Since we all know the anti-male bias of Indian laws, divorce doesn't just mean dissolution of the marriage. It can mean you and even your parents ending up in jail for a fake dowry harassment case, or you losing half your assets, or having to pay alimony for the rest of your life, or losing custody of your child with limited to no visitation rights. So be smart and go for a virgin. Red pill number 4. Islam has been conquering us demographically for the last 1000 years and continues to do so. The future of your civilization, of your religion, of your people is at stake right now. The biggest reason we are in the soup we are in is because of demographics, because Islam has been outbreeding us since the very first Muslims stepped foot on the subcontinent. It is not the sword which is their greatest weapon, it is the womb. If the fertility differential between Hindus and Muslims is not bridged in the coming decades, then we will lose even more land, just like we lost Pakistan, just like we lost Afghanistan, just like we lost Bangladesh, just like we're losing Kashmir today. So you have on your shoulders the responsibility to fix this situation. Red pill number 5. BJP or Hindutva light is not going to save you. The mainstream Hindutva movement, led by the Sangh, inherently suffers from many ideological deficiencies. For one, they think Hinduism can simply be a cultural or a racial categorization, meaning in a sense even many if not most Indian Muslims are Hindus. They either do not understand or do not wish to understand the progressive propaganda of the globalists, which is shoving feminism and the LGBT agenda down our throats. What's more, these people are incrementalists. They take 5 years to do things which should have been done in 5 months. Our civilization just doesn't have the time to wait for several decades for the healing process to really be initiated. With all these problems and the takeover of sections of the BJP by neoliberal progressives, don't hold your breath waiting for real change. We need to look for substantial, out-of-the-box and out-of-the-party solutions at this point. Red pill number 6. Traditional gender norms are the foundation for any stable society. The man works, earns money and protects his family. The woman bears children, nurtures them and looks after the household. This is how all great civilizations have been built, and this is key to creating a society which is happy and prosperous. We cannot revive India as a great power or save our civilization if we go against these very basic natural principles. Broken families, drug abuse, lack of social trust, the collapse of public morality, all of these are problems caused by moving away from traditional gender norms. In personal as well as in public life, following these norms is the key to happiness and stability. Red pill number 7. The rule of law in India is a joke. More than 3.5 crore cases are currently pending in the Indian legal system. What this means for countless families is that their properties have been stuck out of their control for decades. What this means for countless people is that their youth has been wasted as they were rotting away as under trials. What this means for numerous contractors is that they've gone bankrupt, waiting for a court order to finally receive their payment. This is why you must always be extra careful and be on your guard while conducting your business in India, whether it be entering a rent agreement, or whether it be choosing what kind of company to work for, or whether it be lending someone a substantial amount of money. Always be really sure that the other party is trustworthy and can be relied on to fulfill their part of the agreement without you having to resort to legal means. Red pill number 8. Bureaucrats, judges, and government officials all see Hinduism as a backward cult. This one should be a no-brainer if you've spent any reasonable amount of time observing the behavior and actions of our Babukricy. A recent example which comes to mind is how in Himachal Pradesh a female IAS officer forced temple priests to let her participate in a havan, even though the tradition in that particular temple does not allow women to do that, or how court order after court order has curtailed or outrightly banned Hindu practices like Pashubali and Diwali firecrackers. With each such move, the Babus and the judges see themselves as some enlightened social reformers, even though in reality they are wannabe brown sahibs, copy-pasting everything from the West. So crucially, you must treat any move from their side which claims to promote progressive values in Hinduism with suspicion and cynicism. Red pill number 9. We're going to be living in a China-dominated world. All of us saw how China's response to the coronavirus was one of the most efficient anywhere in the world. And while many Western nations are currently under assault by a second wave, China has effectively gotten the whole situation under control. Its economy managed to avoid a recession, even as the US, UK, France, Germany, and of course, India were not so lucky. Already, China's GDP has crossed 15 trillion in US dollar terms this year, which puts it at about 3/4 the size of the US economy, even if we use pre-COVID numbers for the latter. Given China's strong push for trade liberalization with RCEP, impressive yuan appreciation in recent months, and likely strong economic performance in the next few years to come, it is all the more likely that we could see China surpassing the US in nominal GDP terms within 5 years. Although it must be noted that it has already done so in purchasing power parity terms. Some estimates suggest that China could become twice the size of the US economy in nominal terms by 2050, while others are even more optimistic about the Middle Kingdom, predicting that it could be 3 times the size of the US economy by that year. Either way, this looks like it will be the Chinese century, and we're going to have to learn to live with that and plan our strategy keeping that in mind, whether at a personal or at a national level. Most importantly, don't buy all the nonsense about India becoming a Vishwaguru or something in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. That's just hogwash. Red pill number 10. Your family and community will support you when no one else will. As the old proverb goes, blood is thicker than water, and this is especially true in a society like ours, where the family unit and caste organization are still fundamentally strong. It is not the police, not the judiciary, and not your local politician who are going to be most willing to help you when you are in danger or in distress, but your own relatives and clansmen. The Jati is nothing but an endogamous unit of socio-biological organization and cooperation, and given what we know about the selfish gene, it is not just their social but also their biological tendency to support their own kinsmen. Use this to your advantage to navigate the complex maze of rent-seeking and artificial barriers in our society and economy.